Okay, well the next thing I'm going to work on is I'm actually lining the bottom and the top with sheet metal as well. As you can see, I've got 3 pieces laid out here that are kind of stitched together with tape at the moment, and these as well will be cleaned up and applied with contact cement. You know, obviously it'd be nice, you know, if this was one piece of sheet metal, but since I have flashing, got it on hand, that's what I'm going to use. So in short, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this line off just inside of the 3/4 upright by a little bit, because I do have that double thickness that's going to be running down here on this side. I'm going to do the same thing on the inside here before it stops, and then of course the rest of it will just be cut out. So I just wanted to give an idea here on what I was doing. This is kind of the markup on it, and all the dimensions are going to be based on what was done originally in the layout. And I will do the same thing on the top, and then we'll move forward from there. So I'm going to mock this up, make my dimensional cuts on it, and then I'll show the end result. I'll probably do the top and bottom and then show them both in one video. Okay, well I have my sheet metal installed. As you can see, I'm going to get a little bit finer detail on this, you know, so you can really see what I was speaking about in the last clip. I've completed the bottom and the top. I've got them cleaned up from my layout die, which is the red business you can see here and there. So I'm just going to kind of take a quick peek on this one, and then I'll show you the top. Okay, like I said, you know, it comes in this way. Here's where it terminates. It comes in and does half of the slot, runs all the way around, and it comes out and does half of the slot here, and it comes to the inside of this recessed area. So that should give a pretty good idea. You know, it worked well sewing those 3 pieces together. I have, you know, it's barely detectable by the fingers, so that should be quite alright. So now I'm going to get back out and show a shot of the top. Same principle on the top. There are 3 pieces on here as well. The main difference between this one and the other one is the shape, as you can see, plus the center cutout. So I'll just get in tight and kind of give a little bit of detail on that. Okay, so clearly it comes in this way like the other one did. And then right here, it hugs the inside of this 1/8 inch slot all the way around and terminates here, and then I've also, you know, cut out the center for the outlet. Okay, well the next step I made was to drill and countersink all the holes from the bottom up and on the top from the top down. On this area I put 3 holes in and spaced them out, and on the long 16-inch piece I put 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, and I've also gone around the perimeter where I marked those 45s as well as the 90s and put those in there. And I did the same thing on the top. Here's a view from the top down. On the 16-inch piece I have 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, and then I come around and hit the other 6, and I have 3 places here on this one. Okay, here's the next to the last mock-up. What I've done was I screwed everything together with the uprights and have the sheet metal in, and I do want to make a note that you can see now that these corners are rounded over. I've made it this far without slicing myself on the sheet metal until I got into one of these corners. So they're round now, and I've filed the edges. Everything's looking good. I'm going to flip it over and give a shot from the top real quick, and got just a few more things to do and we'll have this thing finished. Okay, here's another shot from the top. You can see that things are really starting to take shape now. Everything is screwed together. I've got all the sheet metal in it. I've put in the outlet temporarily. I still have not made this bend down in here to bring the inner portion out to this edge. I just wanted to make sure that I had everything correct before I make that bend. And so far everything is looking very good. So that will be the next thing that I do, is determine where to bend that, and then we'll take it from there. I have my top removed, and I have some layout die here, and I've scribed a line on this edge here where the sheet metal is going to be bent. Once I get the sheet metal bent to where it'll form around this properly, I am going to remove these uprights, and I'm going to prepare the back surfaces, and I'm going to go ahead and glue these to these uprights with contact cement on both of them. And then once I get that finished, we'll see what the next step is. Here's a quick shot of my makeshift brake that I'm going to bend this along the line with. You can probably do this out of wood. What I did, I just have a bar stock of steel underneath it, and this is just a piece of aluminum, and I've put a bevel on this front edge because I actually need to over bend past 90. So I'm going to make the bend on this, and then we'll put things together. Okay, the bend has been made, and it now is going out the inlet port. As you can see, that turned out quite nice. And once I glue this board on here and the other one, I'll be 100% finished with the sheet metal, aside from trimming this edge, which I left long originally. So all in all, it's looking great. Everything's looking good on the inside. Alright, after I bent the sheet metal, I went ahead and took everything apart and glued it to the upright pieces on both sides, as well as trimmed this flush. So now this is completely lined, and all of my sheet metal work is complete. And it actually was not that bad to do. Now, one thing I want to mention that I'd done many steps back is, I rounded over these edges with a 1/4 inch round over bit just to soften the edge. Here all the way around on the underside where it comes around, I stop here because I didn't want to interfere with this vertical piece. And I did the same thing on the bottom as well as on the outsides here. They don't run all the way out, but on the top, of course, it does. And that's just to break the edges over, make it a little more friendly on the hands to take it on and take it off, and also help prevent chipping of the edge. So what I'm going to do now is determine how I'm going to move forward. This is going to be painted, it's not a requirement, it's just something I'm going to go ahead and do because I think it's going to look really cool painted up black with that sheet metal in there. It's going to look pretty awesome. So I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that, and then of course we need to start sealing up these edges with some caulk, and I'll determine which order to do that because it needs to be done in a certain order. So as I move forward, I'll keep you posted, and we'll get this thing built. I'm getting pretty excited, and I'm ready to see it work.